Well, mail is being delivered today, but Canada Post is warning of possible delays as workers are now refusing to work any overtime.
The union representing 55,000 postal workers had warned it could walk off the job today, but has launched a nationwide overtime ban instead. It says members are being told not to work more than 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week.
Joining us now to talk more about the dispute is Ian Lee, the Sprott School of Business professor at Carleton University, associate professor at Carleton University. Professor, always appreciate your time this morning. So it's an interesting situation. Canada Post puts forward a global offer a couple of days ago. The union wants 2 weeks to look at it. They're not getting that. Now they've got this, overtime ban. What do you make of that as the reply tactic by the union saying, well, we're not going to do overtime, but we're still looking at the offer?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the way to solve the problems of Canada Post. Having said that, it's better than a strike. Why? Because the strike drives customers away. Mm-hmm. We saw that in the last strike. Actually, we've seen it in strikes going further back in time, but most recently in December, they lost a lot of customers. The customers that were used to still getting their mail, checks in the mail, old age pension checks have switched to digital deposits, bank statements or credit card statements have switched. And of course, courier, small business, a lot of small business switched. There's already good evidence out there reporting of businesses continuing in anticipation of this strike to switch. So this is accelerating the decline of mm-hmm. Canada Post. Mm-hmm. So not going on strike is a step in the right direction, but what they're doing is they're making Canada Post less competitive. That again is the wrong message to send to your customers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Professor, this is obviously not what anyone wants. However, the union looks at striking as kind of, their bargaining chip, their right, their power to kind of get what they want out of this. But it's a precarious situation because Canada Post says they're in dire financial circumstances. What options does the union have? I mean, what would you do if you were head of the union?
That's an excellent question. And as you know, I've studied this. I don't mean to brag, I promise you, but I've studied this more than anyone else. I've read every audited annual report from 1867 to 2024, and I doubt anyone in Canada has done that, including the CEO. Mm-hmm. Believe me, I'm a former banker. That's why I read annual reports, and there's a block of data in there. Canada Post is in deep, deep decline because of the digitization of everything. We all know that.
Yeah.
Okay, letter mail is going to vanish, I predict, based on these trends, in the next 5 to 10 years. So that means they've got to bet the farm on parcel. Parcels are exploding because of e-commerce, growing at 10% a year, according to StatsCan. Mm-hmm. But they're not competitive. So if CUPW, I know this is going to sound really hard, but they're going to have to work with Canada Post to reinvent their postal division where they're not, their parcel division, where they're not competitive. And that means, yes, part-time jobs. It means route restructuring. And there's going to be reductions of staff. Of employees. Again, this is a hard pill to swallow, and they say, why should we? Well, the answer is because you're going to die if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's either have a job or sort of don't have a job here.
Yeah.
Professor Lee, I wish we had a little more time to get into this, but I'm sure the way things are going, this is going to drag on likely a little longer, so perhaps we can talk more again soon. Appreciate the time this morning. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Jen.
Mm-hmm.